I was 25. I had a lot of things which people like to dream of, but they were all not mine. I believe everybody in the world, they should see true poverty and messed up things. I want to recreate how economy works, not employ people in the future, but give them gamified quests and tasks.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of the podcast in partnership with Najahi Events. Now, on this podcast, for us to be successful and bring you better guests, there's something that I need from you. And that's not much, doesn't cost you anything, but if you would be so kind as to give the subscribe button here on YouTube a push, you're then subscribing to this channel. And by doing so, you're going to see every episode as and when we produce it coming straight to you. It's a favor to me to ask you to do it, and I really would appreciate it if you could. The benefit is that the more subscribers that we get, the better the guests are that I can bring to you. Better conversations, better guests, more impact, more learning, more value. So if I can ask you please to hit that subscribe button, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Right, should we get into the guest? Today's guest is a guy I've known for about a year and a half. I hosted an event down in Abu Dhabi at the Formula One with all these crazy crypto NFT people where they were launching all of these different products. Well, this guy has done something different that's really valuable, and I'm sure many of you with your own businesses will see a huge amount of value in this too. Matthias Mende is an award-winning German entrepreneur. He created Memos, an award-winning social media agency and digital think tank which specializes in social media marketing, growth hacking, and influencer or celebrity campaigns. They then manage, that business still goes on today, they manage online presences of some of the biggest brands in the region. But that's only one part of what he does. He was the former chief strategist at Gemini, helping multi-billion-dollar supply chain enterprises to implement blockchain technology, smart contracts, and AI into their traditional systems. Gemini is one of the largest blockchain software development houses in the Middle East. And now his main focus today is to build the world's first social engagement Web3 platform and ecosystem. It sounds a bit technical, but trust me, when you hear what he's doing and how it's going to change so many businesses for the better, and I mean it seriously, to be able to bring you more customers, engage with them better, and for those customers then to bring more customers to you, then you'll understand why this conversation is important. Now, Matthias has some strong views. He's quite a spiritual person, and those views that he has about various aspects of life and society I delved into because I thought they were fascinating too. Anyway, let's get stuck into this episode. Cue the music for Matthias Mende. And lastly, thank you to Najahi Events, who have been sponsoring us now on the podcast for over a year. Najahi bring motivational speakers to the region to help inspire, educate, and motivate you to achieve better success and live a better life. Matthias Mende, how long has it taken to get you on this blooming show? How many times have we spoken about it over the last year and a half?
Well, at least 6 times, I guess. Because every time we bump into each other somewhere, but it's good, at least we get to know each other more over the time. So This interview will be even, this podcast will be even more.
But hold on, we met in a bar on a rooftop. Vision had organised from Mind Valley a little get together there. Yes. I saw you there, and we agreed to do the podcast then, and then I completely forgot, and then you messaged me, and I was just like, oh, I forgot. Anyway, thank you for coming on the show today.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
Look, I've been consuming some of the information you sent across to me, and I want everyone to understand kind of like the whole digital world that you're living in at the moment, because I think it's not only fascinating, but I think what you're doing has some real value. And I want people to learn about that today. But I think a lot of the time when people talk to crypto, digital asset type people, they don't talk to the people. What they do is they talk to the product or the change or the invention. Mm-hmm. And I want to know who you are. I want everybody that's listening and watching right now to know who you are. We've both been here in Dubai a long time.
Right.
Okay. But tell us a bit about where you're from, how you ended up being in Dubai as a young man, and what that journey was like.
Sure, I'll make this story short. So I've been in Dubai since 2007. So it's 16 years almost. Mm-hmm. I've been born in Poland. My parents, they were like German-Polish. So we had German passports. Uh-huh. So with the age of 2, they left as like, I would say, economical refugees to Germany because salaries were like 4 to 6 times more over there for a better life. My mom says also primarily because of me. And I grew up in Germany from the age of 2 to 22. And then I left to Dubai.
Okay. Where in Germany?
In southwest, it's called Rheinland-Pfalz, a small village called Wittlich. It has like 25,000 citizens. So it's really a village. Mm-hmm. And it's very green over there, nature-wise, which is very nice. And I miss it a lot. Mm. And before, I wasn't appreciating it a lot. But since I live in Dubai, I appreciate nature and forest and boring places a lot.
We do, don't we? We all do. It's like when you go anywhere and it's green, it's like, it's so green. Okay, so what kind of a kid were you like? Were you one of these geeks, or were you a sporty kid? Were you a part of a gang? You know, where did you fit in the whole kind of hierarchy of school and college and stuff?
Well, I was an outsider. I was not somebody who enjoyed school. I was a rebel. I used to get beaten up often. Not beaten up, but like, you know, with the belt from my father sometimes and from mom with like, she calls us the airplane. Because I was naughty, I didn't enjoy school. I enjoyed only the subjects which I liked and the teachers who I liked. And I always used to be late. Even I live like 800 meters away from the school. Like this was the second school. The primary school was standard, but in the secondary school I was always late. But I think the school was good because I had a lot of experiences there. And we had a lot of immigrants around me. We also like German, Polish immigrants. So our area was a lot of Russians, Turkish. So I learn a lot of cultures, which was also nice, and I believe this helped shape the way I think today. And it was interesting.
So why did you come to Dubai?
Well, in 2003 or 2004, when I was 17, I watched this movie, Fast and Furious, or maybe 2002. And this movie, it switched a button in me that I immediately wanted to be in the car customizing, tuning industry. And in this industry, like this was in Germany very cool, you know, to have a big wing, white bumpers. So I used to buy body kit parts and sell them on eBay. And then I had an e-shop and it was working very well. And then in the age of 22, my uncle, who passed away recently on COVID, he had this video when he came to Dubai, and there was full of red Ferraris, of Range Rovers, everything standard, no customization, no special colors, no body kits. And we were specialized in styling. So it was to put like airbrush, candy paint, 16 colors of clear coat in between with some small airbrushes which look holographic when you look from left to right. Very cool stuff. And I found this online board forum, UAE Boost, and I posted pictures there, and the people said, if you come to Dubai, you will be very successful. Then 2 weeks later, I decided I want to go to Dubai. Then I shipped my Mercedes, and it was a very nice Mercedes-Benz CLK with dark purple candy paint, with like very nice airbrush, like sunny wheels. So it was the perfect proof of concept. So I shipped it, and then 3 months later I arrived. I drove around with the car. I meet people here. I joined them in a business, and that's how we got started.
And how many years were you working in that space for?
Like 2 years.
You enjoy it?
Yes, but it didn't went positive at the end because I've never received my shares. So I kind of built the business, but I didn't receive my shares. But I'm also not good in paperwork. I'm the type of guy who makes a handshake, and I love to trust. I believe in humans, and I'm very naive, which is a disadvantage. Of course, I learned by now, and now I have contracts for every small thing. DocuSign, drafts, very easy, tack, 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 send. So I learned from those past mistakes. And I think it's very important to do mistakes in order to learn, because otherwise perhaps you make even bigger mistakes. Yeah, this didn't work out, but still it was very successful. And then I went into the tanning industry.
The what?
Tanning, like the tanning salon.
Tanning salons?
Yeah, so we opened the first.
Did you?
Yeah, the Mega Sun Lounge here in Media City in the Central Business Towers.
Yeah, I remember the place.
I opened this.
That's next door to the
and
coffee
shops. I arranged the investment, everything, but I exited too early. Now it has 12 branches.
So how
it's a money printer.
Is it?
Yeah, because in Germany you pay flat rate, means you can go tanning as often as you like. You pay like 25 to 35 euro per month. And here in Dubai, we used to charge 30 euros, like 80 to 120 dirhams.
Per session?
Per session. And electricity is cheaper here. Labor is cheaper here. So it was really great. But again, I saw this as an opportunity, put things together. Yeah.
So you got into the car industry, you didn't have your contracts in place, so you lost out there. You got into the tanning salon business. You got out of that business before it grew.
Before it grew too hard.
So did you make money?
A little bit, but not much.
Okay, so how long did you do that for?
The tanning salon till 2010. Almost a year only. Just a year.
It's so you're 3 years in, and you're not really any better off than you were before you came.
No.
But you have learned some lessons.
Too much. And I made too much contacts from the car industry, because a lot of Emiratis, they love cars. And I love cars. And that's how I make a lot of great connections. Okay. So at some time I had some friends. They were not Emirati, but I stay in their house in Jumeirah. I was living like a prince. I had everything there. Food, cars.
So what did you do after the tanning salons?
Partying. I used to be a lot out and about. I used to enjoy life.
Yeah.
I was at this age like 25 to 28.
Okay.
And then later in 2014, I restarted again business, because you see, I had a lot of things which people like to dream of, but they were all not mine. So it was no benefit. If I want to take somebody out, I couldn't afford to go to a good place or anything. I would go to like eat and drink cafeteria, spend like 100 dirhams,
Yeah.
So that's how it was, the reality.
So I suppose you weren't, for those years, a successful entrepreneur at all, really. I suppose you were kind of like an apprentice entrepreneur almost. Would that be fair?
Apprentice. Yeah. The thing with me is I never really thought huge and big, and I always failed in scaling operations up, especially when they work. Because when I used to buy and sell those body kit parts, I was buying those exhausts, they call them mufflers. I used to buy them on ebay.com for $29 and sell them on ebay.de for 130 to 150 euros. And I would sell 3 to 5 units per day, sometimes more or less, but I could have made it much bigger, because every time I had a special product, within 3 to 6 months, other people would sell the same product, but for a much smaller margin on profit. Mm-hmm. And when I did my first business with 9, I used to buy Kinder Surprise figures from this chocolate egg.
Yeah.
And I buy them from other kids in the primary school with the yellow page book in my small city, driving with bicycle with cash money, like 50 Pfennig, 1 Deutschmarks. And I would buy them for this price and sell them on a jumble sale, because at this time internet was still new. And sell them for 2 Deutschmark, 3 Deutschmark. So I already make like 4x, 6x profit. So I didn't know the concept of making like the Americans do, like 5% profit and sell huge amounts.
Got it.
So that's where I failed. But the good thing is I learned out of it. And back in the day, there was no mentors. There was no business mentors. In my village, everybody thinks only how to make more money. Not about their dreams. So if they, instead of working in a restaurant or in a supermarket or in any normal store, my friends back in the day, they would prefer to work in the factory, producing pizza, or Dunlop producing tires, and they would have a double salary over there. But still, this is only like 2,500, 3,000 euro per month. So it still doesn't really make the life extremely better, and they work very hard. If I see those guys today, they look so much older than me because it's unhealthy, you know, nobody's wearing masks, all this toxic air. People weren't really educated about health much back in the day. I feel this whole health movement, it's just started like maybe 10 years ago, and it's properly started since the pandemic.
All right, so take me forward. I want to go forward and get into understanding more about your business career. So you've gone into the suntans business. You haven't succeeded there. You've gone into a bit of partying because you're young and why not? And then you're 28 years old. Did you have a conversation with mum and dad, or a conversation with somebody that made you go, now's the time to get serious? What was the trigger there?
The trigger, well, I went into social media marketing, and I used to do a lot of growth hacking, like specifically on Instagram.
But how did you get into that? I mean,
well, I was in social media the whole time. I was on Facebook since 2007, Twitter 2009, and I always knew how to edit my own pictures because I know how to use Adobe Photoshop. I'm a marketing person. I love marketing because I feel that I have a lot of creative ideas. And sometimes they just come like visions. I don't know. They just come and then I need to note them.
So you set an agency up? You went to work for an agency?
Yeah, I set an agency up. It's called Mimos. It still exists today.
And so that agency was set up and you were out there looking for clients to help them run paid ads on their business to generate leads, yeah?
Yes, but at this time there was no ads existing on Instagram. So we invented the ads on Instagram because we use a lot of gray methods back in the day. So the bots which I use, for example, they would emulate your account. So it's like you are logged in and now the bot is you, and the bot will know, oh, Spencer Lodge, he likes those type of people who are into intelligent stuff, you know, good conversations. And then all those people, we would interact with their followers from your account, giving them 400-500 likes per day, write 150 comments, follow 400 people, automatic, and by hashtag, and then unfollow them later on. We follow 2,000, unfollow 2,000, and that's how the accounts grew, and this worked amazing. Back in the day, Instagram didn't have any mechanism to catch this. And my partner, one of my partners, one very smart guy, very, very smart. He made himself refugee in Canada. He was Syrian just because he couldn't get, because he cannot do anything with his passport. It's not fair. He cannot open bank accounts. Yeah. Sometimes money stock in PayPal, use other names, always coming, but he had money actually, you know. What he had was 90,000 SIM cards in Philippines, so he controlled 160,000 accounts on Instagram, and he used them for mentions. And that's when I said Instagram didn't have advertising, but we did advertising with these accounts. So for example, we go to Nike, 2 million followers. We will check which followers are active the last 30 days. So from this 2 million people, maybe we have 300,000. Now we have a shoe brand which needs to sell. Now we would post the picture from the shoe brand, and all those 300,000 names from Nike, the bot accounts which look like real, they would comment them. Every comment would mention 5 names, and every name which is mentioned would get a notification under the picture. So they would see the picture. Some people, they would swear in the comments, but a lot of people would also buy the product. So this worked fantastically. And this I used for techniques like to book out complete nights in nightclubs. I would just take the followers from the competition places and post them all under the flyer, like 10,000 people. It worked amazing. So this were some great techniques. But again, I made a mistake because I was trying to sell superpowers to people, and I need to convince them to get the superpowers. while I could create my own product and sell this own product and scale it much harder. So I learned how to scale in Dubai by thinking big, and this took time. This took mistakes. And I figured out that now I'm thinking very big because I registered a domain, and this domain was the proof for me that I think big. So to explain this, the term for $1 billion company, it's a unicorn.
Yep.
There's also a term for $1 trillion company. Nowadays, we have $1 trillion companies. Back in the day, we didn't really have them. Apple now is more than $3 trillion. So do you know the term for the...
No.
Okay, uni, it means 1. Kilo means 1,000. So it's a kilocorn.
I've never heard that before. A kilo corn.
Yeah, you can ask Google. Or Bart or even ChatGPT. But the fun part is that kilocorn.com, I registered it for $12. I got $1 million offered.
Whoa.
Last year. I don't sell it. I also own kilocorn.finance. But now I will sell it because now I need money to invest more into Bonuz. But it proved for me that I had this thought first. It means that I'm on the right path. Obviously, to make $1 trillion company might be delusional. It's very high. Let's make first like a 9-figure business or start with an 8. But at least I know that my mind is now on the right path. And this is all thanks to Dubai. And thanks, I would say, also to the vision of the ruler of Dubai. I love Sheikh Mohammed. He's amazing. Like you see, like they ask him a question and he say, why not? And you see this type of things, they inspire me because it really shows that we can think in a limitless way. And that's beautiful. And I feel that's why I love this city and this country also, because the mindset of a lot of entrepreneurs and people here is just different. We don't have to worry about all this like protests on the street, about this crazy criminality, about thieves coming, bringing you on gunpoint because you have a nice car. All this stuff doesn't exist here.
Before we talk about Bonuz, because I really want to talk about that, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about how you and I live in this country as foreigners and get to experience that kind of can-do mentality, that real kind of positive approach that the leaders of this country have, and how that kind of like infects us all in a really positive way. You know, in Germany, in the UK, we have a social system where people get given money if they don't go to work. Right. Here, we don't have that. It's like you don't go to work, you don't earn any money, and so you better get on a plane and go.
True.
So it's almost like our back's against the wall to start with, isn't it? You know, you got to come out fighting.
It's a bit hardcore. It's true.
But I like that, because then you don't have any breeding of mediocrity.
Correct.
You just have people that have got no choice but to go and make something of themselves.
Absolutely. It's like a membership, you know. To have a residency here, it's like having a membership or having a subscription to an application. And if this 3 years or 2 years finish, you need to resubscribe. That's why some people, if they don't resubscribe, they leave or they left already. But those people who have now the 10 years golden visas, for example, sometimes they don't even live here, but they are very valuable, great people, and they are still a part of Dubai. So it's really intelligent, this approach to give those golden visas, because this way they have better users. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just said something that I really liked, though. You said membership. I really like the way you just described that. Alex, do you like that? It's like making it a membership. And so that really resonates with me. But also, when we see what's going on around the world, you know, I've just come back from the States and we've got all these homeless people on the streets in America. And then you've got, you know, the Just Stop oil activists that are gluing themselves to the highways in the UK and throwing orange stuff on Wimbledon tennis courts, orange paint and powder. And then you've got, you know, this whole LGBTQ plus blah, blah, blah movement, which I have real issues with. And I'm glad that I'm here, because I feel like we have the same kind of belief system as the leaders. And it takes me back to the World Cup in Qatar, when they wouldn't allow the rainbow flag or a rainbow flag to be on the chest, on a hat, on anything for anybody there. And there was uproar. I was watching the news in the UK, that's not right. They should be able to have their rainbow flag. It's like, why should they? They said in Qatar, that's not part of how we think. It's not part of what we do. You can do that where you come from, but in our country, this is what we do. And I feel we've got that same kind of mentality here. It's like, if you don't like it, you can leave. You don't have to stay. It's not a prison.
Exactly. And
everyone's allowed to be what they want to be here, as long as they're, respectful and, shove it in anybody else's face. But the rest of the world seems to have kind of got lost somewhere. And, you're 38 years old and I'm 53 years old. And so I'm born in 1970, and, I might describe myself as a bit of an old fart. But, how do you feel about it?
About the whole stuff with the...
What do you make of it? You turn up at my house and you've got your medallion hanging down and your kind of your loose shirt and you look like a cool hip kind of dude. I could get it wrong in my interpretation of you. I could think, maybe don't misgender him.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
But we don't have that here.
I love that they keep certain stuff out, because I believe it confuses the people totally, and I feel that this stuff can disrupt the society in certain ways, like it does in the Western world. And as you said, to keep, if people don't like it, they can go. Yeah, I think that's okay. And what Qatar did, I think it's also good. It's hard. It's not completely open-minded, but there are also young kids and not so educated people. They could be easily confused from those things. And I feel that's where the damage actually might come in bigger. And I personally feel that this whole LGBTQ
plus
agenda, I think I am very against it, by the way. I think it's terrible, and I feel what happens in the school, that they tell the kids that they can be girls and boys, like they are too young for that, I remember when I saw certain things with the age of maybe 11, 12, it really confused me. Even when my cousin, he would show me a horror movie, I got really like a little bit traumatized at night for some time from those things. So kids' minds, they work different. So I don't think it's healthy at all. But I also think, and that's maybe a little bit conspiracy, but I feel this whole LGBTQ thing, it's like from the elites in order to prepare the humans for a time of transhumanism. And this is when the human merges with the machine. So we become cyborgs. Like, for example, we know that if somebody loses his leg, they have sometimes artificial legs. But now the robotics industry, it's very ahead. And I think in 2 to 5 years, it will be extremely ahead. So we will have probably body parts exchanged with artificial parts. And even organs with the stem cells and stuff can be rebuilt. There's a lot of incredible technology, which is very positive. But I feel that when it comes now to the neural link, which is placed in the head, that we will be a little bit cyborgs, because perhaps it will connect with our retina, perhaps it will connect to our feelings, perhaps it can give us the ability to be in a state of a dream without having a dream. And perhaps people will not consider themselves anymore as a man or a woman, they will be something else. And that's why they have so many different things. And I feel this is scary, because if there is another, let's say, catastrophic pandemic happening in the future, or let's say Putin goes nuts and sends a nuke and we have a nuclear winter, what people will do? They will not go outside. Maybe they will be just digitally online, because also the technology, it's advancing. For example, the new headset from Meta, it's great, but the Apple Vision, it's insane. And now imagine the next generation of this And obviously the Neuralink also just got the FDA approval. I don't know if it's FDA, but it's
FDA, I don't know.
Yeah. But it's from the health department of the states, So they approved the human trial. So I think this might happen soon.
So so in the Netherlands the other day we saw a transgender woman. So somebody that was a man became a woman, compete in a beauty pageant, which women usually compete in, and then he won. Now, if you saw the face. And maybe, Alex, you can put this on the edits. If you can see the face, the image of the person that won, and then you can look at the image of the person that came second, so the female that came second, clearly the person in second place was way more beautiful, and it was a beauty contest. Now, I don't blame the person that was competing. So I don't blame that guy who became a lady that was cheating, that was competing. For me, it's like, who's judging this?
Exactly.
And so if there's 3 judges or 5 judges, who's informing those judges to move down that path? Who's paying off those judges, or who's influencing or blackmailing or whatever it may be those judges to make sure they choose that person? And then what is that organization? When you look into the history of the kind of like the leadership of the world, we have the Rothschild family that were in control of nearly every central bank apart from the North Korea and Iran. Yeah. And so you've got one family that control the central banks around the world. And to me, that's a kind of like a very wealthy private organization. You have the Freemasons.
Bilderberg Group.
Yeah,
Illuminati.
Obviously, the Illuminati.
We don't know who it is. We really don't know.
But do you think
I think
we know more now than we ever did.
We know more now than we ever did, and I believe that there are crazy rich people who are so bored of life that they just want to destroy humanity. Because I think perhaps they did so many bad things. I also believe in reincarnation.
So Buddhism believes in reincarnation.
Well, I'm a Muslim, but I'm very spiritual also. So I don't really stop there, but I believe in reincarnation, and I think those people, they do bad things like rituals with blood and sacrifices, and I feel they need to do those things in order to get reincarnated again, but because they have those rituals and those type of things. It's very crazy and very bad, but I think they just so bored out of their mind that they just want to destroy humanity or bring chaos, or they are just the extension of the devil and they just try to fulfill his job. The same way I believe that we humans, we are an extension of God. We are not God. We are not even close to God, but if we think like creators, we run a different frequency and we actually build things, because humans, we create. So those guys, they kind of feel the opposite way. And if I think if we are not doing good things, then how good things can happen? We need to be the good ones. So we extend the good, positive actions on earth. Then the earth perhaps will be good. And now with the Great Awakening and a lot of people getting conscious, I think it happens more and more. And I feel that's a very beautiful thing, but it needs to be spreaded more around the world.
Yeah, I mean, what you just said there makes me think about the work that I've done on a documentary about human trafficking and the time that I've spent in Nepal and in Bangladesh and whatnot with these kids, and see how much they suffer and what they've been through. And it gives me a chance to be grateful for what I've got rather than take it for granted, and really appreciate, almost put myself in the shoes of these kids and just imagine what their life might be like. And that for me brings me to a place where I find it really peaceful, because as much as there's pain and suffering there, it's for me, it's just like there's stuff that's so much more important than making money and being successful in business, but we lose track of that.
Absolutely.
And our ego gets in the way, and it kind of like takes over in some dramatic fashion, as it did for me. I turned into an arrogant, obnoxious pig, basically, making loads of money, thought I was amazing, and full of my own self-importance and value. Being exposed to these kids just rips that all away.
Absolutely. That's why in Germany, when I see all those people being depressed, I know a lot of people in Germany, and I'm happy I don't live there anymore, because these people, they don't even appreciate being in Germany. You know, they like have everything. There's good air, they have food. Even if they lose their job, they get the support from the government. It's very special. People can't really die. And I always tell them, and they have a strong passport. I say, go out in the world, find a job somewhere else. You are German, you can perhaps get a better job. People might give you a bigger chance. I believe all the humans are the same. If the aliens come, they will not say, oh, this is a German alien, this is a Indian alien, or this is a yellow Chinese alien. We'll be the humans, we'll be one, you know? But those people, they forget. And that's when I was in Pakistan once, and I saw a mother washing her baby from the rain in the sink. It was like a sinkhole with water. She was washing, and I saw crazy poverty. You know, it was sad, but I appreciate and take my life, like, I don't take it for granted that things are good. I mean, you always have to think, you know, to be more humble and see that what we have is special and appreciate it. And the people, I believe everybody in the world, they should see true poverty and messed up things. They should see it to appreciate themselves more and to be more positive and happy about what they have instead of being miserable. Because miserability, it doesn't help. It just gives a bad mindset.
Depression's no good for anyone. Sadness, pity parties, all that kind of stuff doesn't serve anyone, does it?
Absolutely not. And the thing in Dubai, what's so special is, put the radio on here. You know, you hear the radio, you hear most of the time positive things, happy stuff. In Germany, when you hear the news, it's always so much negative things and problems. They already programmed the people to be somehow negative, you know? So I don't know. I feel that's all like a part of the big plan, but we need to fight against it and spread this knowledge and hopefully get more people to become humble, nice, and upgrade themselves for a better future of themselves.
Do you spend a lot of time thinking about this kind of stuff?
A lot.
Do you?
A lot, too much sometimes. But sometimes I stop myself also from thinking too far, because I could overthink, you know? So I get myself back. But I like to speak with intelligent people who can also add value to the conversation and give me different perspectives.
Yes.
Because I absolutely believe that we humans, as much more I learn, as much less I feel I know. Because there's so many things. You were talking before about different positions, doggy style, this. So, you know, the Indians invented Kama Sutra, okay? It's like doing the same thing in 1,000 different ways. So that's why in business and in other things, it doesn't mean that there's only one way to do things. There's also 10 different ways how to build a building, or even 100 different ways. But some things became traditions and a standard. So I'm not a fan of traditions, but I respect them, and I feel everywhere are nice traditions. So what I'm trying is to learn the best things and pick up the nicest things which fit to me, to become the best version of myself. So I believe that in the future, a lot of those traditions and stuff, they will not really exist so much, especially now with the change of people being able to be a girl, a boy. You know, even Andrew Tate, he wrote, "I'm a girl" in his Twitter. And this was so funny for me to see, you know, because he it's like showing them the middle finger, you know, when somebody like that says something like this, because it makes a joke of the whole movement. And I think that's a good thing. As controversial the guy is, I think some of his messages are very, very nice.
I think it's funny how when you make a joke of a movement that doesn't have a sense of humor around anything relating to their own subject matter, you know, bringing it into question, you know, and humor should be applied to it. Humor should always be, because that's one thing that human beings have got the ability to connect with. Okay, no matter how serious a subject is, if you can make it lighthearted, if you can have a bit of fun while you have a healthy debate, you know, what you invariably end up with is a much better conversation.
Absolutely.
Because everybody comes out of it, you know, feeling like they've been heard, okay, not had their feelings hurt so much, because there's been a bit of fun during that exchange. All right, we could talk about this kind of stuff for hours.
But regarding the happiness and the humor, there's a study. Recently, it came out in the last 3 months. It showed that people who have problems or they are sick, but if they are happy, just they are happy in their life or they are part of a community which is happy, they're much more healthy than other people. A lot of diseases don't come to them because they are more happy than others. So we must be happy. It's healthy to be happy and to have more humor.
The greatest example of that in my world is if I've got 2 daughters, one is 23, one is 21. And when they were younger...
Wow. Mine, it's 22. Can you believe that? In the middle. And nobody even knows that.
You've got a 22-year-old? You have? Well, that's a whole nother conversation, I'm sure. Okay, so my 2 girls, when they were younger, if I would tell them off, if they did something wrong, I used to tell them off and it would be very stern. And then as they got a little bit older, I'd tell them off and I would secretly laugh to myself, and I'd have to step out of the room and have that like laugh to myself in the hallway and go back in and be stern again. And as they've got older, if I have that stern conversation with them, they look at me and laugh, and I look at them and laugh, and we both end up laughing. I'm like, no, but I'm being serious, and then we both laugh, and the moment is softened. If I have an argument with my wife, she says to me, "Why are you laughing?" And I'm like, "I'm not laughing." And she'll see the edge of my mouth turn up. And she's like, "You're laughing." And I'm like, "I'm not, this is very serious." And she's like, "You're laughing." And then it's that whole kind of like that tough, difficult moment is diffused. Because she's like, "Oh, shut up, go and put the kettle on." Or, go make a cup of coffee. Or, if you're really serious and you're really angry, then come back in the room without smiling. And then that's impossible, because if you walk back in, you smile. So you're right, that whole kind of like happiness thing. And for me, it really manifests itself in those types of moments. Today, a lady cut me up coming onto the palm, and she cut me up, and then she beeped me, and then she flashed me. And I was like, what is her problem? Now, in another country, I'd be like, what are you doing? What are you up to? And here, I was like, what's her problem? And then she came past me on the inside lane, and I looked across, and she looked across at me, and I just went like that, and she went, and then we drove off. And it was a real kind of like 2 strangers having a moment, just with a little bit of joy around something that could be something that was aggressive or angry.
A lot of people, they live in anger.
Yeah.
It's a disease, I think, but it's a mental disease, yeah. And I feel even, before it used to be a shame, I feel, when people have to go to a psychologist or something like that. But I personally, I have friends, I can talk very deep, so I feel it's also a little bit like a psychotherapy. But I feel it's very healthy, because those psychologists, I think they might be very helpful, because they can maybe remove the anger or give them some tips, and they might be taken more seriously than talking to the brother of some friend or something like this.
That never ever works, because what happens is when advice is given by a family member, a friend, or someone close to you,
it could be corrupted advice, because also somebody told the person.
Well, there's that as well, but there's also the person receiving the advice. Unless they ask for advice, they don't want advice. Nobody does. If I say to you, "Can you help me with something, please?" and I get your help, that's one thing. If you just volunteer your help to me when I'm not asking for it, I can receive that in different ways. And I think that if we go to see a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a psychotherapist, whatever it may be, and we've made a decision to book an appointment to go and sit down with that person, I think we're already seeking answers.
Right.
And because we're seeking answers, we find ourselves more open to embrace what is suggested or offered. You're a businessman. When we talk about all kinds of crazy stuff here, Talk to me about Bonuz. I've been really interested in seeing this journey start. I remember being at an event in Abu Dhabi at the Formula One, where I first met you.
Proof of Fusion.
That was the name of the event, and I was the host and the MC of that event that wonderful afternoon and evening, which was chaos, but in a really fun way. High energy, chaos, lots of stuff going on, people having a nice time. Where did the idea for Bonuz come from?
Well, the idea was created by me, and over a few years I've came across many problems. And then in 2021, when I made a little bit of money with trading and so on, I thought, let's launch it. Let's build Bonuz. And I like to put all those ideas together. But during putting the ideas together and now being in 2023, 1.5 years later, almost 2 years later, and more ideas came on top, which made the product more complete. It's actually not a normal product. It's not something very primitive where you do just one thing like it's in the crypto. You know, crypto itself, it's very primitive, I feel. The way of how a lot of people launch projects is like a couple being married, they're getting baby. They don't care if the baby is disformed, retarded, or handicapped, because they will have every 1-2 weeks an update. The token is out. And because of that, you know, every update is like a news. And then the people, they spread the news, because projects which don't produce money, or a business which doesn't produce money, technically the stock value can't go up. It doesn't make sense. And a lot of those projects in crypto, they actually don't produce anything. It's just based on hype. And that's why a lot of things, great ideas come out, but they never, like they will be finished after some time, the 9 months. The first investors, they already made their money. And the people who come later, they just lose. This is what happens a lot, and that's very bad. But this is also because the space is so much not regulated and things are very decentralized. And
so you're talking, in that example there, you're talking about all of these arguably meme coins and
meme coin, it's different, I would say. Meme coin, it's like a gamble, in my opinion. I don't think even meme coins are that bad. And I even heard that the SEC, from some big guys, they don't really care about meme coins because they don't promise anything. They are just based on hype and because people find them cool. And
it's gambling.
It's like gambling. It's like Elon Musk talking about Dogecoin or Shiba. They don't really have a function, those things. They just based on hype, and if more people jump in, it's like gambling. It's actually gambling. So if somebody puts his whole money in those risky, high-risky tokens, it's very risky, but perhaps he can get lucky. I personally wouldn't recommend.
So explain to me how this all works. What is Bonuz? And remember, for everybody that's watching and listening to this right now, we need a simple explanation so that we can all understand it and follow it. So take it away.
All right, simple. Bonuz is a social engagement ecosystem.
A social engagement ecosystem.
Yes, so basically it's a B2B2C product, whereby the business which we serve can be anybody who has a community, can be any brand, any membership club, it can be a school, it can be even a government, because it always caters to their users, which could be the citizens, the students, the visitors of the restaurant, the community members, the membership members. And the idea is to amplify their communities and bring them more value back. So Bonuz, in a nutshell, is a mix of different technologies. And we have something called the decentralized social identity. This is how it starts. And it's all based on blockchain. The blockchain itself comes for the trusts, because the main feature of blockchain is trust. Because the blockchain has thousands of copies, and it's always the same.
Okay. So let's go into giving me an example. Let's take a school.
Okay.
It's a nice simple one, okay?
All right.
So the components of a school are the board of governors, the leadership team, the teachers, the students and pupils, and the parents.
Okay.
Okay.
So for a school, Bonuz would work like this. First of all, we don't want to disrupt the system. We just want to add value. Adding value is like the school is the cake. Now we put the cream and the cherry on top. Okay. And the cream and the cherry on top would be for the school. There would be multiple functionalities. One of them is that the students, they could log into the school with Bonuz, because we have a QR code which is connected to the social identity. And the social identity, it has all the social medias connected and validated that they are belonging to the same user, which also prevents impersonation, which is everywhere a big advantage, because now too many scammers, too many impersonators. We all have this problem. And now the students, when they go to school, they would basically log in with Bonuz. first by scanning maybe a QR code while there, and then the secondary by being in the geolocation of the school. So now they logged in. Now they would receive their quests, what they can do today, for example. But one thing they for sure can receive, because we don't want to disrupt the system, is the certificates, like once they finish the class, instead the achievements one, instead of receiving a paper or a PDF file, they would receive it as a soul-bound NFT, meaning that it only stays with the person in his own wallet, meaning that it really belongs to the person. Because on LinkedIn, I could work for NASA and be a rocket scientist. And people would believe it, because they believe everything they see on the web, unfortunately. Even if you don't write certain things, people just assume and they put their own story together. But once having achievements on the blockchain, it's true. So we would upgrade their certificates, for example.
Okay, so you're taking my paper certificate and making it digital. So what?
Well, you could perhaps show it off on LinkedIn, and it would be visible that it's on the blockchain and that it's issued by this trusted entity. But school, it's a higher level, it's a little bit above level. We start with entertainment and those events space. It's more simple.
Okay, let's take another example. Let's take a restaurant and the customers of a restaurant.
Okay, and restaurants, Bonuz has again another feature. They can log in. So now we remove the social media agency. Now anybody can be an influencer, because he comes to the restaurant, he logs in with Bonuz. Once he logs in the restaurant, he'll receive quests. Take a picture of the food, post it on Instagram, do a review on Google, do this. We use all those social media tools in order to amplify the restaurant. And if the user does that, it means first that he's a good user, and second, he'll get a reward. But the reward here is not money. The purpose should never be money. The purpose should me adding value to the restaurant and the restaurant adding value to me.
So let's say I do those things.
They will give us vouchers, and those vouchers are for a free meal, 20-30% discount, and they come as NFT, and they are redeemable with the same application, with the same system.
So basically, I go to the restaurant as the customer.
Right.
They encourage me to use this QR code.
Right.
I take photos. So I'm essentially creating user-generated content for that restaurant. And from there, then because I do that and that's posted out there, what actually happens is the restaurant say, well done for doing that. We appreciate you doing that. You're essentially sharing that content with your own audience. So You're giving us some free marketing or advertising. Absolutely. We would like to reward you, and we're going to reward you this digital way, which essentially is going to mean the next time you come, you get a free meal.
For example, free meal. Exactly.
So it incentivizes me as the restaurant guest to go and do that, okay? And the restaurant itself is getting exposure to a bigger audience more than they would have had before.
Absolutely.
Because of them doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
We removed the agency because agencies, usually restaurants and venues, they book influencers, and influencers can cost $500, but they can also cost $25 million, like Beyonce opening the Atlantis Hotel. But now there are people who are a few hundred followers, and they also can create a damage, because if they talk, it's more like a word of mouth, and those people also need to save money. And people in UAE anyways, or in general all over the world, they want to save money, and there are Groupon and there are all those discount apps and all those things. So we do the same thing, but in a different way. Okay. But we do it by measuring the value, because we have a AI algorithm which kind of scans if the people really did it or not, to validate.
Okay, and so it's not guesswork, there's validation, so that the restaurant owner is able to essentially track the performance of that particular guest.
Absolutely. And imagine we have a nightclub. They have all those shows with lights and all of this. And now somebody comes to the restaurant who has like 10 million followers or 5 million. Yeah. Because he's in the social identity, he has his social medias. Now, if a big guy comes in the location, even the location itself get a notification, hey, this person came in, he has so much followers. Now they can send him a special quest. A special quest is like, we'll send you the big show with the lights. It's like 15,000 dirham valuable. all you need to do is to make a story. And if the user accepts this quest, it's like a straight barter deal, because now he, with all his followers, he needs to eat, to drink, and maybe to impress his friends, but he also needs to pay. But not everybody likes to pay. And for the restaurant, this 15,000 dirham show, maybe it cost only 500, 800 dirham. But to pay the influencer, they would have to pay maybe $5,000 to $10,000. So this way they give him this free show with the free food, and they get a very nice marketing back. And this way they scale on customers. Because
so I've got 180,000 followers across my channel. So I'm not big at all, but I'm not small. So and essentially by me walking into that establishment, they're going to know my data. They're going to understand that I've got that audience, and they're going to say to ourselves, hold on a minute, maybe we need to upgrade this guy to a better table, okay, because we want this to be done, or whatever it may be. Absolutely. The benefits and the bonus. Okay, I understand that. That makes sense. Okay, let's talk about it in a different business.
Okay, sure.
I one of the companies I own is a wealth management company.
Wealth management, okay.
So we have a DFSA regulated company, and we provide financial planning and wealth management advice to high net worth individuals here in the UAE. So how could that work for me?
That's a good question, because that's a field which we didn't tackle yet, to be very honest.
Okay, let's take another one. I've got an insurance business. We provide medical insurance to lots of corporate companies here in the UAE. That medical insurance we provide is changes every year, and use every year and whatnot. It's a great business. Okay, and that company, let's say we have a customer, that company employs 500 people, and we provide the medical insurance to those people. How could Bonuz help with that?
Okay, for medical insurance, I think it's possible, because if the users who would get the medical insurance, they could perhaps, your company could then give them some discounts by them talking about this medical insurance. Or if they have a doctor visit and everything works smooth with the insurance, they could put posts about it, and therefore they could get a discount next time, and perhaps receive some affiliate referral reward if new people come in through them, because they talked about it. And this would be simply measurable.
It's all essentially data backed, and that information is recorded, rather than anyone having to do something manual, rather than anyone having to go out and say to those employees, hey, if you do some positive word of mouth posts, we'd really appreciate it, and we'll buy you a box of chocolates. Okay, and that person remembering or not remembering to do it, essentially as they're part of Bonuz, it comes up on their phone, and it's like, hey, don't forget to talk about medical insurance today in your content, because you're getting a discount on next year's premium, or you're getting a benefit in some way. Yeah?
Well, if you talk about it, then you will get the discount. So they first have to deliver. That's why there needs to be the proof of action.
Yeah, they have to deliver something first, yeah.
And then once it's validated that the proof happens, then we know, and then we can issue this voucher or discount for next year.
So what industries at the moment, with where you are your target focus?
Communities and tourism. I think that Bonuz can amplify tourism crazy. Why? Because there's, for example, I'm always thinking first about the UAE. Because I've been here 16 years.
It's our home, yeah.
And it's our home, exactly. So I see that there's a lot of museums which are incredible and nobody knows about it. Did you ever hear about the Sharjah Space Museum of Islamic Space? It's insane. For me, this museum is better than Louvre. Nobody knows about it. Everything what's written in the Quran, there's a lot of things about space and stuff. So in this museum, it's fully explained, and they have rockets there. They even have aliens there. They have asteroids there. So many different type of asteroids. It's insane. The type of things you can see there, you never see them anywhere else. They have a planetarium with a show, which is so mind-blowing. Nobody knows about it. So I would love that this place gets more busy, but perhaps they don't know how to do marketing. So what can we do? Yeah, perhaps we could give vouchers for tourists who come to UAE to visit those places for free with their family, because there's a lot of poor tourists coming here with charter flights. They stay in cheap hotels somewhere in Deira or Ras Al Khaimah, and all they can do is take pictures of buildings pictures of supercars in valet parkings, or like of Mall of Emirates or somewhere, and they can go to the beach. They'll go to Kite Beach, and that's the thing. And maybe they have 100 dirham per day, but those people, they would be happy to go to this museum. They would be happy to use their social media, which they've been having anyways, because it's a standard in the world for every human to have it. And they are like micro influencers, and their value, it's more valuable. Like if we take 1,000 people who have 100 followers, they will be, in my opinion, 10 times more valuable than one person who has 100,000 followers. Because the person who is the influencer of 100,000, he usually gets paid to promote something. But the small people, they would show things if they like them. So it's much more honest and
authentic,
exactly. So now imagine if we give them free voucher to go to this place, then they make stories, they kind of promote the space, they are excited about things. Now they get a voucher for the next museum, some Emirati museum in Deira, which is always empty. Now they go there, they again show everything, and now they get another voucher to go another.
So Malaya or whatever it may be.
So they come here, and maybe after 5 things which they promoted, maybe they'll get one for the Museum of the Future, which is a highlight, which costs around, I don't know, 250, 300 dirhams. Yeah, but that could be the big reward. And those people, they are just walking. It's not that they go there and they take a piece. No. If they are there or not there, it doesn't even make a difference. Like in minus, but if they are there, it makes a difference because they create content and advertise the country. And that's the idea. And that's why we combine those technologies, measure the success, if it really happens, the proof of action. And if it happens, then it's a win-win for everyone.
That makes sense to you? Okay.
We will use augmented reality a lot.
Okay, really?
And augmented reality, it's really crazy because then, you know,
Did you ever hear about a supermarket in China called Yihaodian?
No.
So,
but I know the concept from Amazon Go.
Okay, so Yihaodian was launched, I think, 7 years ago.
Okay.
And Yihaodian opened up their stores in China overnight with augmented reality.
Wow.
And they put all of their stores in front of all of their competitors' stores.
Oh, wow.
So all of the supermarkets in China, Yihaodian put themselves in front, literally in front
on their world map.
And people would, with their phones, they'd be walking around the car park of the supermarket, buying their groceries, and in China the groceries would be delivered to their door. So they'd go in there, and there's a great video by Ogilvy and Mather on it on YouTube. So I understand what you mean with that.
I didn't see that one yet, but that would be an amazing company to cooperate with.
Let me see if I can find it for you. Okay, Yihaodian, really great video. Shows you, and they became the biggest supermarket chain in China overnight, without a single real store, just virtual stores.
It's incredible, but that's exactly what the future will bring, a lot of disruption. We don't want to disrupt too much. We want to add value everywhere. We are an extension. We give. If I have 2 hands, with Bonuz, people will have 10 hands.
Yeah, you're not trying to stop anything. You're just trying to make it better. Okay, how do you make money?
Well, we will make money from the vouchers. I mean from the NFTs, which the businesses and partners will be minting for the users. So our cost is probably below 1 cent, and we will charge like 9 to 10 cents. So we make like a 9 to 10x return, which is also not really much. The margin is huge, but for the business, it's not really much, because if they have 50,000 customers, they will pay only $5,000. It's not really much, but the value is huge. So that's one way of how we make money. Mm-hmm. So the cost is covered. The gas transactions, which you know in crypto, sometimes you have to have ETH or BNB in the wallet. Mm-hmm. They will not be existing. There will be no gas fees for our users, because this is all covered, because it will be donated by a donation wallet. Yeah. And it's very simple. People say to merge Web 2 into Web 3. We will merge Web 3 into Web 2, because Web 3 is too complicated. If you use MetaMask, Trust Wallet, nobody can use it. It's way too complicated. New users have to have the most simple UI and UX, and it just needs to be 1, 2, finish. 1, 2, 3, finish. It's very important. And the technology now is very far ahead. Just that not everything it's combined together. It's like cooking a special soup magic potion and put some pepper, some ginger, some coconut, some this and that, and then you have some new outcome which has a new name which never existed before, and that's Bonuz.
Tell me about the actual full-scale launch of Bonuz. Where are you in that process?
We are very ahead now. We've been building for a time, but actually we're planning to go live on the App Store this month. So we have 20 days more apparently.
So
but not fully live. We will go
July or in August?
In July, but
you haven't got 20 days more of July.
No, maybe 18 days,
yeah,
or 14. But we will probably launch this month, but in a very stealth mode.
Okay.
So those who know, they will be able to download, because we will make activations. We will not put all the future features. So we will use the community features. There are a lot of, and we will use them more for the Web3 people, because they are more aware of how to use the product, and there will be still bugs and things to fix.
So you go for a soft launch at the end
soft
of this
launch,
month,
correct.
And then you go for a hard launch when? End of August, end of September?
No, like this year for sure.
This year, so before the end of the year.
I would like to make a huge launch at a huge event. It makes much more sense. We partnered with World Club Dome, which is Bernd Breiter's company, which they were also in the proof of fusion, where the astronaut was talking from the space to us on Earth. Was crazy. So this event has 180,000 people. I want to use Bonuz for those type of things, because it will bring me more users and more impact. But I can't immediately start with such a big thing. I need to start it in small communities. We have weekly meetups here. Every Friday, 6 p.m. art meetup here in the Palm. I don't know if you know about it.
Where?
In the Palm. It's in the social district. It's in this place which is beautiful, and they will take it down,
You mean the Point?
Yeah, the Point, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So tomorrow it's going to be
at 6 you meet up just with other like-minded people.
Yeah, and the people.
So when you do this bigger launch that you do, you'll be doing. Can the viewers and the downloaders of the podcast come?
Of course.
Are they welcome?
Absolutely, everybody. It's to come. This tool, it's to everybody. I want to actually recreate how economy works. Not employ people in the future, but give them gamified quests and tasks.
And so
Bonuz, ultimately, now we call ourselves social engagement omni-platform. But ultimately, once all features are there, I call it real world operation system.
Okay.
Because if it's a real world...
You sounded like a baddie in a sci-fi movie then. Is it like world domination is coming our way?
Because you know what you can do with augmented reality? You can just change how the like, imagine there's dirt on the floor, you see like a Coca-Cola can. You open your augmented reality, you go on the can, now you go pick up the can and you throw it in the bin, and you show that you did it. Now you are already connected with your identity and everything, and now you get a plus point, perhaps with the government or with a charitable organization which rewards people, which clean things up. We have a beach in Bali, fully dirty. Okay, somebody seen it, they drop a token. This token can have $50. At 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, there's an event like meetup.com. People go there, they scan each other, they authenticate each other on the place with the location. Now they are there, they are the $50. Now they clean up the beach, make a new video. Now the validators, some trusted people, they say clean, clean, clean. Now this $50 goes to the 10 people and they all made $5. For what do we need charity organizations anymore which steal half of the money?
Yeah.
They are so corrupt. My friend, the Turkish billionaire, he loves to help, but he knows that half of his money is stolen. So it's better to have things which have true impact. But those...
Who is it? Somebody was telling me the other day, I think Scott Harrison said that 87% of all the money that goes into Africa from charities is lost.
It's so sad. When I saw that, I was shocked. I couldn't believe.
Yeah, it's the way the world
but
is.
But that's exactly what we need to change. And that's exactly the mission I'm here for. Because I'm a human, a soul trapped in a human body, and what more can I do? I already did everything in my life. Now I think we need to spread the message and do as good as possible. And I think Bonuz will be a nice tool for that. Because it's not all about money, it's about purpose. Trust me, life would be much more easier living somewhere in Thailand, on the beach, chilling, low cost, or in Bali, meditating every day, no stress, yoga. This would be nice. This would be stress-free. So I'm currently in a war zone, even though I love the country and where I am and the challenge, but this is a war zone. It's crazy stress. It is insane stress. It's really burning me out sometimes. And if I would not do sometimes ice baths and breath meditation and talk with some people, I would probably go crazy, you know? So it's hard. But everything is in progress. As hard the challenge is, we're getting there.
Matthias, it's been great chatting to you today, and thank you for sharing in such an animated way what you're trying to do and how this is coming together, because I think that the world needs more people like you trying to solve these types of problems and make the world a better place. So thanks for coming to see us today.
Thank you so much, Spencer, for having me. And I hope that more people can get inspired and that we will be not alone in this mission, because more people can actually join the mission and use those tools for good once they are properly created. Because, you know, we only live once in this body, I guess, and let's see what happens next. But as long as we are here, let's make the best out of it.